because I'm actually not in the lobby. So
Oh no!
yeah, I have to I had to use the bathroom in the break and then I didn't join the lobby. But I'm gonna ask you to click on Hero's items, Moxie. Can you do that for me?
I can definitely do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna be a little annoying this game and I'd ask you to call them out for me since I won't be able to see them myself.
You can also, I think, talk to production as well. They're wonderful, and they can usually assist you. Because I know I've heard Suns fan yell, "Please click on this hero for me. I would like to know what's happening."
That's very true.
Yeah, so there you go. Just pull a Suns fan.
Pull a Suns
Just pull a
fan.
Suns fan. See,
Yeah.
look at you. Gotcha, fam. Thank you guys. But yeah, you know, we're seeing some different picks come out, like the off-lane Jakiro, not something we typically see. We've got, you know, almost the same draft on the side of EG, except for the Morphling and the Razor. And it sounds like Cinderin is very pensive on what the actual build is going to be for Abed here.
Yeah, I think it's we're definitely gonna see the BKB and refresher build that we're so used to seeing eventually, but I wonder what the build up to that is gonna be. We're just gonna have to see how the game progresses, really. But this game feels like it could be anybody's game. I'm not so sure, just draft-wise. It feels more even than the first two, for sure.
XD.
XD.
Well, that's what we want to see here for game number 3. We don't want to see a stomp. We want to see a bloodbath. We want to see, you know, these two teams duking it out. Because, you know, they're excited. They want to go and meet up with TSM over in those grand finals. So now's the time to put up or shut up, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, these regional finals have been so up in the air. Similar to the DPC season, between these three teams, it looks like any could beat the other on a good day. And it's been a long
Makes
time
for the most
since
exciting Dota, for sure.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time since NA has been that competitive. It's actually one of the more exciting regions to watch.
It's also nice too because we've got so much like it's interesting, right? Because a lot of these guys have been playing for quite a while at this point. But we are starting to see, you know, more interest making their way into the area. We just saw, you know, Wildcard picked a team. Obviously, TSM's the next big thing too. So a little bit of, I don't want to say necessarily a revival, but definitely more interest coming into this area, which we desperately need.
For sure, and it's added motivation for the players to do even better, and even the unsponsored teams, just knowing that there are eyes on this region, and that could potentially open the door for their own sponsorship will just change. But I didn't get to really talk about the Morphling pick that much. What I like about it is that Jakiro was offlane with the idea that he would be playing against a Razor, and he can do quite well in slowing his attack speed and just disengaging by bringing the Tidehunter, right? But he's playing against Morphling, a hero who he doesn't really have the burst damage to take down, so there's actually no kill threat against this Morph with an Io and Jakiro combination. Also, Morphling's base attack time and his attack speed is just so high that outside of Dual Breath, he should be able to get every single CS that he is looking for, right? And we can already tell Jakiro's at 6-1 and Morphling's at 12-3. So I think this Morphling pick was ingenious in the regard of playing against the Jakiro.
One might also say an evil genius.
An evil genius, indeed. But yeah.
I'm sorry. Now I'm making like old dad jokes, but no, it's definitely a very good point. The fact that they made this swapping, you know, they picked up this Morphling, which, you know, usually you need some sort of like high burst damage. This is not something that you're going to see coming out from this particular lineup here on the top lane. So how do they deal with this, I guess, is my question, because if Arteezy is allowed to just farm, it becomes a huge issue for the side of Quincy crew.
Well, you just let the Morphling farm. Really, there's not that much you do. You hopefully wait for a Void Spirit rotation, top potentially also the Ravage, and you just try to force Morphling out of the lane, get that tower early, and just play on the rest of his team, right? Eventually you can catch the Morphling off guard with a Void Spirit jump or an Ice Path or a Ravage. It just can't happen on the laning phase.
Nice cookie here, and pinning you are over to the tree. That little shirt doing a lot of damage. They have quite enough. Yes, they do. Nightfall will get the first blood.
Nice try on body blocking by Palmo, but it wasn't enough. So we're talking about how Morphling is under no kill threat top, but at the same time, the Medusa is under a lot of danger bottom because Snapfire and Mars can take advantage of the fact that Medusa is such a slow-moving hero. if she just gets caught in one spear, one little shredder, she's gonna die in the early levels. So they have to be a lot more careful on that lane.
It feels like we've been seeing a lot of aggression coming out from the dynamic duo of Crit and Nightfall. Again, there it is. Cookie hop forward, pinned to a tree, little shredder. A little bit tanky here, but it's a rinse and repeat sort of situation. So Nightfall off to an amazing start here, is working towards that armlet to do what he did in the previous game.
And we can already see the difference in this Mars and Snap lane, because the last time they played it in the last game, they were playing against the Templar Assassin, and to kill that hero, they had to burn the entire little shredder on the refraction, and it just wasn't enough. But on this lane, any hero that gets caught, especially with only 1 point in mana shield, it's just so difficult to play this lane in the early levels. But this game is also going to look different. We were talking about how it's going to slow down because Abed is on Razor instead of a Spirit hero, but it doesn't necessarily have to slow down if the Mars is off to a better start than he was last game, right? So it's an interesting new take for EG.
Again, that cookie hop here. Nightfall not quite in the position, but he's looking for the opening for sure. And that's another kill, this time going over to Crit. So I will say that I feel like EG looks a lot more, I don't want to say put together, but I feel like when they allow Nightfall to kind of get this sort of momentum going for himself, they definitely feel like they're more in control. And that's definitely something to keep in mind here.
I think that they looked quite put together in the laning phase last game. Like, it was all very clean, but Nightfall has such an advantageous lane this time around that we're definitely going to see him get that start that you're talking about and have potentially a much higher impact in these early game movements. But Void Spirit did get level 6 mid, so now he can just Astral Step out of the static link, and should be simple from here on for him.
I'm curious if he's going to... No, he's just going to go right back to mid. Okay. I wasn't sure if we were going to see some sort of rotation, but Abed is going to find himself a nice haste rune, so I'll bottle that up, save it for later. Oh, never mind. He's got places to be. He's got people to kill. He's got to link up Ponlo here and get some assistance from Crit. So he can eventually click him down.
That's probably the best rune to get on a mid-Razor in the early game, because you don't lack damage, you don't lack anything else, you just need a way to get on top of them, right? Because you don't have any stuns built in or anything like that. So just get a clean little haste rune, go bottom, free kill, take your stacks. You're feeling good.
Do you remember the days when they used to have like an action rune spawn like right at the start of the game, and there'd be like an enemy Pudge or an enemy Treant Protector who would get the haste rune and just rot you or punch you to death, and you're like, well, I'm dead. I literally can't do anything against this.
That was so annoying and so dogshit because, can I say that? It was so annoying because oftentimes that freaking 0-minute double damage rune would just win mid lane.
Definitely wasn't great, but no, what's also not great is when Abed and Crit can just run down the Medusa and slay her here when she's trying to hit a camp.
And this is the one downside I would say to Void Spirit mid, right? Is when the enemy mid starts rotating and you can't match the rotation of your own just because it hasn't opened up for you with a rune or whatever, the hero doesn't push very fast and doesn't do any tower damage, right? So the trade-off that you can do as a Void Spirit is you can just try to get as much farm as possible, clear the wave, get the small camp, which is what Quinn did. But Abed has just been bringing the pain to the bot lane.
Very nice rhyme, but also it's interesting to watch him, right? Because on the Ember, he was doing this as well. Like on all those heroes that he was playing mid, he was taking the farm off from the side. And as we say this, Nightfall making his way bottom. That's just a dead you are again. He's not being allowed to hit the creeps whatsoever. They are just putting the pressure, putting the pain down. Poor Ponlo is like, please, don't look over here. Just take the tower. Don't look. And it's too late. They already found him. It's a double kill and a tower for the side of EG. They have just turned up.
I feel like I've seen this before. I've seen this exact scenario last game. Ponlo hiding in that little nook in that bottom right over there while they're getting the bottom tower.
They're bullying children. How does that make you feel here, EG? Kazu also getting bullied, not a child either. The step forward here coming up from Quinn, though, hoping that he can get the kill onto Jarex. Follow up here from Milan. The Spirits will be able to help, as now they're just gonna try to chip away over here onto Arteezy. It's not looking so great for them, though.
Yeah, they don't have the damage to take down the Morphling. Sure, they did get the Bane kill in return, but they lost their offlaner. They had to commit the Quinn TP. Io also had to go top, and Morphling is fine. He had an 11 wand and a raindrop, and he's just sitting pretty up on this lane. This was a really good pick to throw off the laning that Quincy crew had in mind.
Yeah, he's 67 and 13 right now.
Dude, look at those stacks.
Oh man.
What? They're coming at the same time.
They're coming. You gotta run, Quincy. You can't deal with this.
Oh my god, they're gonna take the stacks. They're gonna take the stacks.
They're gonna kill more than just the stacks, Effie.
I swear I've seen this before. I've seen this before.
This is I don't know. I'm not sure this is a mustache lacking or if we're headed towards a top hat at this point.
Look, I've seen this exact scenario. Not exact, but walking in, stealing their stacks, parking yourself bottom, getting that rune early, and having RTZ rotate. This has been the story of game 1 and game 2. They've actually brought the same exact game plan, but with the adjustment of the Razor. And Abed's showing us that the Razor can be just as active as a Spirit Hero.
Oh my god. Yoar has... he's been dead for the last, I don't know how long here. As the Snapfire Kiss is gonna rain down some fire. Abed, though, finally going to pop. Quinn will find the opening. They'll kill Bonlo. Nightfall making his way over here. Does not have the arena. They don't really have that catch that they'd like. No mana left over on Jerax because honestly, I feel like they've been fighting for quite a while over in this area.
Yeah. Ponlo is gonna respawn and buy the tome, so he should have Ravage up when he does TP.
Okay, that's important for sure. That pressure on the map, very much needed, I think, for Quincy. Oof.
That Medusa is so sad. That's a level 5 Medusa, minute 10. Just power treads trying to build a Dragonlance.
And it's a Medusa where everything has gone wrong in life.
Yeah, I mean, we know Yaoer is an excellent farmer, and he can come back given the right fights and just the right areas around the map being open to him. But it's definitely harder to come back as a Medusa than a TA, just because it just seems a lot safer to farm your stacks as a TA. You just live for longer than a Medusa, especially if you're low level.
It's a nice pick off over on Quinn. I'm not even sure if it was a pick off necessarily, but they used the Fiend's Grip. And of course, the Morphling has more than enough damage. A little bit of playing here in the mid lane. They're trying to put some more damage over onto Abed, but he looks absolutely fine.
Yeah, so I just want to elaborate on the difference between Medusa and TA here a little bit, right? So Medusa's an incredibly tanky hero as the game progresses and she gets her items. But in these lower levels, this is when she's most exploitable. So for her to walk into the triangle, she's not that safe as if, say, a level 6 TA were to go there with the trap vision, with like 3 points in refraction, her team potentially following up. So Medusa's actually stuck, playing on the bottom side.
Nightfall looks like he's managed to stick Quinn there over into the side of the wall. Looks like they were going to try to make some sort of, yeah, the XD coming out. They were trying to make a play onto Nightfall, but how quickly the tables were turned on that. And look at this. Again, just pressure being placed on Yoar. Jerax just feeling very comfortable, knows that he's got his team behind him, forcing this poor Medusa just out of her own area. She's just getting choked out here.
This is all she had right now, right? I was thinking she's stuck on this bottom side. She's stuck in her jungle. Her triangle is not that safe yet, but because they did extend arena, he probably can go up there and try to get what he can. But it's hard, man. Poor little Dusa just waddling around. But well played by Nightfall. Just because he had that great laning phase, he's able to be everywhere. He's second most in net worth right now. He should have his blink coming up. I can't check items because not in lobby.
Yes, he has the blink.
Okay, nice. He got it. That's a really early timing for a blink armlet.
I mean, he's 4-0-4 currently, so he is definitely having the time of his life in this game.
And RTZ is very close to his BKB as well. I'm not RTZ, Abed. Sorry, I'm not used to seeing Abed play Razor. My mind just blanked.
Also starts with an A. These things happen. The worst is when one of the teams, like one of the players, like put I think it might have been Flea put Stan King at the end of his name, like for one of the qualifiers, and so I'm like looking at it, and I know it's Flea, but because I keep reading Stan King, I keep saying, "Oh, Stan King," and that's just like, oh my god, they're just messing with me at this point. Francis, please.
Yeah, I think that's just bromance, right?
Oh, definitely bromance. Those two were very.
I like to see it. It's pretty wholesome. Like, I like my teammate a lot, guys. I'm gonna put him on my name. But interestingly enough, Quinn has gone for a Yule Scepter this game, and I think it's just needed to create that distance between Razor and the rest of his team because it's so hard right now. So you can just use him and hopefully reset, right? Also potentially just Astral step in and use either the Snap or the Bane because there's a lot on Quinn's shoulders to be the disruptive backline jump because Kazu did not have the greatest start this game.
Because it's also on a Jakiro, which doesn't have quite the same impact that he normally likes to have. But yeah, I feel like a Yules is always a very valuable thing to pick up on your Void Spirit, as is getting kills on him. Ooh, that regen in though. Snapped up, Nightfall, waiting patiently, but they do have the Yules up and ready, so that's gonna be an arena that gets nothing done here.
Really good Yules.
Maybe gives them a tiny fright.
Yeah, that was a really good Yules dodge and nice clean little kill there. I like that Arteezy tried to steal the regen rune away, but Quinn picked it up just in time. You were talking about Jakiro. Yeah, so Kazu definitely has an explosive playstyle from the offlane, given the right heroes, right, and the right conditions. But
yes.
Offlane Jakiro is very dependent on winning his lane and pressuring the enemy carry.
Oh my gosh, they almost... Oh, look at the long-range kisses. He's got to use the Yules to buy himself just a little bit more time, but he is cooking just a tiny bit. Thank God for the regen rune.
He's got the regen. Feels good. That Yules has been really valued so far, actually. It helped him dodge the spear and dodge the potentially fatal Mortimer's kisses. But yeah, so if Jakiro doesn't win the lane, and he couldn't because he's playing against the Morphling, right? His hero doesn't do that much outside of the first 2 levels. He kind of has to be relegated to more of a support playstyle and just sit in the back. And if he does try to split push and venture forwards on the map, he's just going to be instantly punished by the blink on Mars and the threat of Snapfire joining in with the Borderless kisses.
It feels like Quincy's drafts today have been of the, you know, we're gonna do a little bit riskier of a pick. Right, so they thought that they had kind of got the checkmate when they saw the Razor. Oh, the Fiend's Grip, though, coming out from Jarex. Plus those Snapfire hits here. BKB comes out from Ovid. He's linked up. He wants to kill on Quinn. He's not going to be able to hold him into place. Good step forward, though. Again, we talked about this case. It's just a little bit slower. Ponlo taking a bit of a nap after that Ravage. He's going to get left behind as they have plenty of damage to take him out.
Looking good. They got Ravage out of the way. Didn't have to blow that much, right? They did Fiend's Grip, but that doesn't mean that much right now. It's gonna come back off of cooldown in like 80 seconds or something. But I like that.
Milan gonna get picked off here.
Yeah, Nightfall is everywhere with this Blink Dagger. He's getting such good jumps and such good initiations, and you really can attribute that, Moxie, to what you were talking about earlier, how if he gets to such a head start on the lane, he can just find all of the entry points that EG needs, especially without a spirit hero. But actually, I like that when Derek's is gripping, when he saw the Ravage, he just canceled the grip. He was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to get Ravaged here.
He's trying to run away. Ponlo just getting chased down. Milan teleporting into the lane here. They've got a ward very forward. They can see exactly where Kazu's going, but look at this. Arteezy's just poking away over here at UR.
Was that a BOT on Kazu?
On Kazu?
Nice. Yeah, so this is kind of unfortunate because it's not the highest damage build, but these are the items that Jakiro needs to be able to play this game right now, right? He needs the lens so he can cast spells without putting himself in harm's way, but he also needs his BOTs because if he's going to play the split push style of a core Jakiro, he needs to make sure he can get out instantly after getting 1 or 2 waves.
It's not looking great for him right now as Jerax throws out the Nightmare. Just getting off a couple hits, and guess who's here? Our favorite Mars, although he's not going to be able to go and land the spear, but they will find the kill on the Jakiro.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about, right? He does need to play the split push style, but it's so easily punishable. You can't stay after 1 wave. So the VOTs may look a little bit funny, but they're very necessary.
Jerax getting the Nightmare just in the right place, right time will ensure that they can get the kill on Milan, and they smoke up on the side of EG. Bed leading the way here. He's just gonna stand right behind Arteezy. It's gonna be the Stone Gaze coming out from UR, but he's trapped, so they need something to be able to cancel out that TP, and the cookie's just a little bit too short. It would have been right on the money if it was a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that was a really great arena, and he just couldn't do anything, right? He speared the Medusa away initially and was just hoping there would be follow-up, but they did get Stone Gaze out of the way, and now Medusa is more of a sitting duck for the next 80 seconds or so than she was before. Nightfall has been so on point today.
I'm curious if EG manages to go to the grand finals here, if there's going to be a respect ban on this Mars, or if they're not worried about it, they're going to play just, you know, so he can't dominate the lane. But curious, look at this Jerax. He's hoping that he could find Quinn. He's just not going to be able to quite make it over there.
I think Nightfall played really well on his OD yesterday too, but most teams have been opting to ban out the Snapfire, right? Because Mars is not the hero that he is without the Snapfire to amplify him on lane and later on in the game. So you can give away Mars, it doesn't have to be banned out, but you don't want to give it away with Snapfire in particular.
Now this Roche is slowly but surely getting chunked away here, as EG's looking to gain themselves a little bit more, even more of an advantage. But you can see Jerax wandering over, is gonna walk into Pawn Low. Just gets picked up by Arteezy. It's a little nightmare action over on Pawn Low. You can see the teleports coming out already. Nightfall waiting to be a part of this action. He's got the blink, he's got the arena, he's got the spear, and he's got Pawn Low. He's dead, but over on the side, they found Crit. So they'll be able to go and take him out as Ovid, though, chasing after Quinn. He's just got that last step up. Milan's gonna get ticked away here by this Morphling, and he tries to tether out. He's not going to be able to. So they are down one Pawn Low, and they are down one Milan as well.
And if you're EG, you're actually quite happy to trade your position 4 for their position 5 Tidehunter in this position, because Ravage is the biggest counterplay that they have up right now, and if Tidehunter is out of the way, they can run down whatever hero they see. And in this instance, it was the IO, for example. Man, EG's in good shape. Looking really good for them this game. I wonder if it's throwable. I feel like every game in Dota is throwable, but this one's...
Oh, for sure.
This one's in a really good position right now.
I mean, there's literally a website for EG, but they're looking like they're hungry. They've got their eyes on the prize right now. But hopefully, you know, there is such a thing as a caster's curse. There is such a thing as, you know, throwing the game.
Yeah, I think this one is less throwable than the last one, because I don't want to keep talking about the 5 Tide, but 5 Tide from a losing position without a secondary reliable initiator is very hard to pull off. And Jakiro,
Stone Gaze is gonna be Milan. They should be able to burst down Nightfall this time. Abed also Stone Gaze as well. Back off Plasma Field, still holding on to that BKB. Use the Eye of the Storm though, and you gotta be pretty happy about that, because it does seem like Nightfall is, you know, the primary aggressor in a lot of these situations with the arena.
Absolutely, and this Medusa is getting stronger and stronger and working his way towards that Scotty. Once Medusa does have Scotty, she can actually trade hits with the Morphling, right? And they do have a way back into the game. We can't count them out, because all it takes is one really good fight to start a
Look at that! Look at the ice path. They knew he was gonna get cookie hopped. So they're just gonna slowly but surely work down here on Jerax. He's still alive, actually. Hello, Quinn. Trying to follow up. Okay, there it is. The Spirit will be able to clean up. Nice ice path over onto Abed. Pawn Low in position.
Nightfall's TPing
Crit nearby. And you can see, all right, there it is. Nightfall with a nice arena. Manages to go take out Cassie immediately. They get a reload out. Be able to keep the Medusa alive, but that was a little too close for comfort, as now Pawn Low will fall. And they've got a creep wave here in the bottom lane. They've got a tower that they can take down. Quinn hiding over here on the side. He's gonna have an astral step up in a moment. Milan, though, he realizes that that's going to be his life for taking out Medusa there.
That respawn on Mars was right in time, right? Because EG do have this bottom outpost. If the fight goes on for too long, Quincy crew are going to find themselves in a position where they're just arena'd. And yeah, they can relocate out one target, but you've still got the rest of your team in a bad position. And it looks like they're just going to threaten high ground here.
Really.
There's 1 more minute on Aegis, and he's going to whack a wave.
Yeah, TZ does not seem concerned about this at all. Just putting out that damage onto the tower. knowing that they don't really want to commit on this.
I mean, Aegis
Little
is going to
Scotty.
time out now, and Medusa's 1k gold away from the Scotty. So it's not looking horrible for Quincy crew. Really, Medusa Scotty changes a lot because that hero becomes able to hold her ground against Morphling, which is something that they don't have right now, which is why it feels so hard to take the fights outside of getting arenaed.
My concern is what's your... So, you know, you have Quinn, who can, you know, be the initiator if necessary, but it's a pretty spooky thing to be that person, right? Especially considering that, you know, you are a bit more fragile. It does have, of course, the Agnum Scepter, which helps quite a bit. But, you know, how do they get into these fights? You know, you don't have a Blink Dagger on Ponlo. He's still dreaming about it. He's getting closer to it. He's 1,400 gold right here, but it's difficult, right? Because you have forward, Ice Path, follow up for Kazu. But again, we talk about Kazu playing a very specific type of hero in that off lane that likes to be aggressive, that likes to make things happen. And this is not quite the hero. Not at this point. Nightfall,
It can be the hero for sure. It just needs a good laning phase.
Saw that one coming there, and the second that you saw Milan start to get the reload ready.
XD.
But they'll wait patiently for Milan. They'll take him as a consolation prize.
And so Milan is getting these reload outs, which is really important because they are buying time for their Medusa, but it just feels so sad for him.
See, now if I was any other caster, I'd be like, disgusting, Effie. You're pitying a support player, because that's what usually all of them do, right? But
Because
I feel
am a
you on
support
that.
player.
You feel bad
it's
for
so
him.
sad.
He's the Wambulance.
Oh, he does have
Forward, here
ads
comes
up on Void Spirit.
Quinn. Should be a kill on crit. Very nice hit and run. Abed, though, over on the back lines has his eyes over on Kezi. Oh, wow, Paulo just disappeared. He was there a second ago. I didn't realize that Arteezy was a magician. As you are, does manage to teleport out in time.
Wow. Tidehunter died before he could cast a single spell. That's so sad. And if any hero is on top of this Jakiro, he's so slow to move away and doesn't have the mobility to disengage in these fights, right? So if they just target this backline in that way, these are easily won fights for EG. Nice
They're
script
gonna
on
commit on this. Yeah, Jarex was using the Fiend script. Arteezy's bringing up the rear here, so they will get the kill on the Bane. I don't think they're quite ready to get the jump over on the rest of the side of Quincy crew.
He was all by himself there. I understand taking the opportunities that you see, but maybe it needed 1 or 2 more seconds.
I think he thought that they were a little bit closer, perhaps, or...
Yeah, but Quincy crew can actually take these really good fights if they instantly burst a target with Quinn.
Well, this is the problem, is that they just immediately take Ponlo out of the equation.
Poor little watermelon. But yeah, so if Quinn... in
Ooh,
theory,
oh, no, Quinn? Oh, bye-bye, Quinn.
That was such a good spear.
Oh, Milan. Oh, looks like Milan's gonna survive.
That was such a good spear. Honestly, in the first couple of games in DPC, the last DPC tour that we saw, it did feel like Nightfall messed up a couple of initiations, but these last couple of days, he has taken every opportunity that he's seen and only missed once. Honestly, the growth as an offlaner has been really impressive.
I
But
mean, that's one of the cool things about DPC, right? Is the fact that we get to follow these players, watch their growth, see them improve, see how they evolve on teams as they get picked up as well.
yeah, so I think I can't keep criticizing the format. I've given my opinion like a million times.
Please leave Ponlo alone. Please leave his 5 watermelon. He would like to be doing better. You know he would. He just it has been a tough game for this.
I don't mean
this
about
guy.
I don't mean about the Tidehunter. I mean about the format in the DPC. How we have waiting so long in between series is actually a little bit detrimental for the growth in newer teams. But so Quincy crew can take these fights, right? If they get that jump from Quinn on either Bane or Snap, like he did find a couple of times, and a nice little counter initiation from either Ice Path or Ravage, Medusa can hit these heroes and do a lot of damage at this point, right? Her Scotty is done. She's working her way towards her BKB.
The drag back. Abido popping the BKB is going to turn away. Nightfall being very aggressive. Jumps into middle. Everyone pops the BKB as Arteezy now trying to put out this damage. Trying to get forward over onto UR. He's popped his own BKB. He's got plenty of just kiting manipulative. It's just not going to be enough because they're able to go and get the teleport out. Onlo waiting patiently over here. He's got a Ravage. He'd love to show it, but they're gonna try to make the moves again.
He's in danger
back
now.
over onto Arteezy. Doesn't have that Aegis anymore. Looking forward. Followed up with the Ravage. Can they do it? Can they finally take down Arteezy? Yes, they can. A wicked 6 Sterling is taken out. Ponlo finally getting that Blink Dagger that he has been dreaming about for this entire game. And a smoke immediately coming out from the side of Quincy. They're hungry. They want to see what else they can grab as they go marching down this middle area. You are heading the tower. Quinn leading the charge.
That was an excellent relocate out by Milan. Medusa was out of mana. Medusa's 1 second away from dying there, but because she was able to get out, they were going to reset that fight with the Ravage. Morphling committed the BKB initially to try to take down Medusa, but when that didn't happen and she got reload out, all of a sudden, EG have to run away. They also used the double BKB on Razor to get out of the ice path and the fight that was going on. Honestly, Quincy crew are in a much better position now, and this Medusa's only going to get stronger and stronger. I think Yoar was working towards a BKB. I don't know if he changed his mind after the last fight.
He's still
he's
still got it queued up. He doesn't have any pieces of it just yet, but it isn't as quick buy currently.
Quincy crew are so impressive in their ability to make losing situations somehow look winning.
It feels like a backhanded compliment.
No, that's really cool. Like, they can play from behind. That's a talent that a lot of teams don't have, actually.
It just makes it sound like they are always in that position.
No, just.
But again, like you said, it is more of a
series.
compliment than anything
Yeah,
else.
no, in
It
today's
is
series.
difficult to bounce back. Difficult to keep that morale as well, right?
It looks like a free Roshan.
Free Roshan, they do have a Gem of True Sight online here for crit, so they're going to be ripping down Vision.
So
And that's
Morphling,
the age.
Morphling finished his own Scotty and is now working his way towards Satanic. And that Satanic Dispel is going to be really, really nice versus all of the heroes on Quincy crew. Except Io.
That's Shard over on Nightfall. He's already a menace. He's going to be even more menacing now with that pickup. Reload coming in, though. Like they're hoping maybe to get the jump on Nightfall. They realize that that's an issue here. So we'll use the arena, but easily just walking out here, or tethering out, rather.
I like this blink pickup by Kazu. This is the best way to ensure that you can safely play the side lanes without getting caught as a Jakiro. Because his hero, anytime he's been... Oh?
Oh, they found themselves a Morphling, and that's going to be the Aegis. But look at the way everybody's getting to position. Nice ice path to start off. Nightfall following up here. They went for the Ravage, but doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. As now they go, and Noir, they've refreshed the arena. They're going to do whatever they can, but the silence is proving to be very, very detrimental. They get the Fiend's Grip off over onto Yoar. They'll end up losing Milan. Yoar, no mana left, though. There's just so much damage, and Nightfall will be able to find the kill to take down Ponlo. No buyback on this Medusa or the Tidehunter. Do you have the Io with buyback? But that looks scary for like half a second there for EG when they lost the Aegis. But you have to realize
Yeah.
Nightfall is waiting and he's ready.
It looked especially scary because Morphling actually popped his BKB as the Aegis died, right? So he was respawning with no BKB on top of an Ice Path, on top of a Aether Remnant, on top of a Ravage. It could have been so bad, but Nightfall came with the beautiful arena. Ovid came in and just did all of the damage versus Medusa. We're so used to the carry fighting the other carry that we forget this mid-Razor can take out Medusa all on his own too.
Step forward here and trying to burst down Arteezy, but they're not going to be able to close the gap as Quinch just gets murdered right in front of his own rack. The follow-up over onto Milan. They should be able to take down this Io. It's going to take a little bit longer, but they'll find it. Nightfall just on a roll here. Look at this kid go.
I'm surprised they were able to kill Void Spirit through
He's
all
not
of
done
Io's
yet. Hold
save.
on, Effie. He's got to murder some more people. He's got to kill Kezu. He's got to kill Ponlo. Okay, it's going to be Arteezy who gets that kill on Kezu, but... Whew.
Nightfall doubters, question mark?
And I mean, you have to say, EG is playing this together quite well. We were praising Nightfall quite a bit, but there is some very good positioning coming out. Ovid being able to, get these long duration latches.
Absolutely, credit where it's due. Every EG player today has been playing to the best of their ability so far this season, right? This is the most impressive that we've seen this iteration of EG look so far.
The Satanic getting popped over on Arteezy. He's up to full health. He's just gonna keep on hitting these towers, buildings. 16 seconds until this Ravage is back up over into Paulo, and even then, it's still fairly scary. As all right, UR is gonna try to just push them out of the base. Let's have the Scotty Stone Gaze gets used. The IO doing the best that he can, but it's hard.
He has to Mystic Gaze there because he has to buy those extra 5 seconds for his team to respawn.
Oh, BKB coming out now from Abed. He is just leashing UR, taking him for a walk. Milan gonna try to just pull him away here. The follow-up, though, nice Ravage coming out from Combo. We'll slow them down briefly, but Nightfall, again, the Nightfall show. That is going to be a dead Quinn as the damage is just so immense. You've got Macropyres left and right. The GG gets called. Evil Geniuses is going to the grand finals today to face off with TSM.
Yeah, and that was a really great series, honestly. All 3 of those games, EG looked like they were kind of back to their sense of identity. And Quincy Crew had that amazing comeback in the second game. In this game, they held on for